Hey everybody, Dr. Rick here, dropping that on you. On my way to the gym. Before I get started, I want to first of all tell everybody that I'm riding somewhat of a high right now. I am a resident. I am now classified as a resident expert for a podcast being published and promoted on the on network, Oprah Winfrey Network, and it deals with mental health in the Black community, specifically parents of young Black males who are struggling with addiction and mental health. My first published episode was Monday, and it's the Black family healing addiction in Black and young Black males. But we also confront and deal with mental health and mental illness in this episode. It's a milestone for me in my career in this industry, and so I just wanted to take time to celebrate that real briefly. Another milestone that I am celebrating is that that I have dropped going on 35 pounds now after having some health issues. And this is significant for a number of different reasons. But one of the reasons it's significant is that for the majority of my life, I've been extremely healthy, an athlete. Matter of fact, the first business I ever started 30 years ago was Stay Fit Fitness and Training, which is now Master Fitness 21, where I no longer do personal training, but I literally design programs. And anyway, here I am 30 years later, and in 2012, I started a campaign called the War on Obesity, and I used a program I created called VTX 12. Despite all of that, roughly around 7 years after that, started really getting caught up in work, being married, a bunch of other things going on, and I started to gain weight. My focus was building the company, expanding the company, re-establishing the company, and despite everything I know, despite all the things that I understood about what was happening, I let myself go and it almost killed me. Well, on the other side of the heart attacks, here I am. And when I created VTX 12, I never knew that I would eventually be my own client. But the good thing about having the knowledge is you know what to do. The only thing that you have to do is become committed to applying what you know. See, I tell people all the time, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Simply knowing something doesn't give you power. Having the willingness and ability to take what you know and apply it and use it to your advantage is what's powerful. And so what I had to do is I had to look. So what did I do? I wrote myself a program. I created a program based off of what I knew about myself, my psychological makeup, my personality, how much weight I needed to use, what was going to be the focal points of enhancing my health, and all the other things that I consider when I write these programs. I wrote it and I started to use it. I've dropped 35. I've got maybe 12 more to go before I start sculpting and building to the size I want to be. I'm probably going to be at least 10 to 12 pounds larger than I have been in the past because I'm not going to be competing. So there's no need to get down to that size. Plus, I want to carry a little muscle. But I said all that to say this. It took me having a heart attack to decide it was time for me to reclaim my life. Because I'm telling you, as you add this weight on, as you become more and more sedentary, as you do things, you don't just lose aesthetic appeal, You don't just lose your external sexy. You lose your quality of life, the ability to be agile, mobile, move spontaneously, interruptions in your sex life, so many other things that suffer when you're not in physical condition. And I knew this, but I was so focused. I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. Everybody's depending on me. Well, let me tell you something. It's not going to matter how much money you bring into the house if you're not in the house. And I had to come to that conclusion. I had to come to the conclusion that I needed to get myself together. I needed to get myself in shape, that I needed to be the best version of myself in every area. Yes, the mind is exceptional and extraordinary. My mind I value above all else except my spiritual state and soul. But in the physiological and the material movement of life, my mind, even though it's not material, it's still a part of what makes everything move during the day, and I value it. It's the only thing I value over my time, is my mind. It's my most precious asset in this world. And yes, I know God and all that. Those things are given to me. I'm talking about the things you use every day to move about. But anyway, also, when you gain weight and your health starts to suffer, so does your brain. So does your mind, and so does your mentality, and so does your ability to think clearly and experience joy and happiness and a bunch of other things. There's so many things attached to you being in the top physical condition, in top physical condition. And so that is important in all elements and aspects of life. So what I decided to do was introduce to you guys VTX 12. It's a program that's literally been existing for 10 years. Obviously, I hadn't been pushing it for the last 4 or 5 years because I hadn't been in shape. But now, looking at what's going on and just the vitality and vibrance that I've experienced as the weight has come off. And I mean, everything improves, you know, confidence, the way you move, the way you walk, the way you do, everything changes. There's so much that comes with it. And I want to be a part of you taking advantage of it. Now, again, I created this at a time when I didn't think a lot of people who needed it could afford what it would really cost. So, and I've never changed it. I'm not going to change it now. Obviously, it will probably change as things improve and my time becomes more in demand in so many areas. Just putting these things together takes time, and so obviously it's going to increase at some point, but right now it's the same price it was 10 years ago, and I want you to take advantage of it. I want you to click the link. It just takes you to a page where you can sit up and learn everything that's possible and how you can take advantage and take control of your life. I've done some pretty remarkable things this year, despite having some pretty intense and massive challenges. But I think reclaiming my life from a physical perspective has been at the top of the list. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. So the link is in the description box. Check it out, read it. If you decide it's something you want to do, you can, after you get to the site, you can take advantage of it. And I will be more than happy to get you where you want to be. But I'm telling you, I'm on a journey that I'm enjoying, and I will never allow this to happen again. That's still too much for me to do in this world, for me to take my health for granted the way that I have, in the past 4 or 5 years. So again, I am excited about what's going on in my life, and I want to share with you guys. So with that being said, the link is in the description box. Also, I'm going to put the link to find out more about the whole situation with what happened with OWN and how I got the opportunity to do that with the SonRise Project, and what the future looks like for the work I do in mental health and human performance, personal performance, life change, and all of that. But for now, let's talk about getting you where you need to be in top physical condition. Come on this journey with me.